You're not the only one feeling or thinking what you're feeling and thinking, mama. I am too. Welcome to the Mom Bar, a pro mama, mother loving community focused on sharing simple truths, intimate thoughts, and real discussions about the journey of motherhood. All while committing to love the life that God has designed for you. This is a space for first-time mamas, work-from-home mamas, baby mamas, millennial mamas, stay-at-home mamas, single mamas, angel mamas, insert here types of mamas. And if you can check more than one of these boxes, the Mom Bar is exactly where you need to be. I'm your host, Day Hayes, stay-at-home mama, recovering perfectionist, mother of 3 under 3, wife, author, and most importantly, to all of my identities are being a daughter of Christ. We've been kept out of grown folks' business for way too long. But hey, we're here now. So let's talk about it. As your MFF, mama friend in faith, I'll hold space so you can mind your motherhood, vulnerably share my own mom tales, remind you that you are still that girl, and decide if the issues that we're dealing with should be pumped or dumped. So get in, mama. We're going on a faith ride. Welcome to the live launch of the Mom Bar podcast. We are a pro mama, mother loving community where we talk all things motherhood, marriage, and faith. I, for one, did not have a manual for motherhood and marriage, and I know that you didn't. But in my journey of becoming a mom, a brand new mom, y'all, like I'm talking about, I don't even have a full 3 years under my belt. I just realized the need for community, and I couldn't quite find community that reflected my beliefs, my values, my skin tone, my culture, and I decided, you know what? I'm going to make the community myself. And so this is an assignment that I've gotten from God. Yes, this is a faith-based community, an assignment that I've gotten from God to launch the Mom Bar podcast. Like I said, we are pro mama, mother loving. We have no judgment over here in this community. We are all about serving in the first ministry we are given, which is motherhood and marriage, but most importantly, learning who we are and evolving in all those spaces. Some of you guys have known me from many different phases of my life. You might have known me from teaching when I did my teaching stints in Houston, or you might have known me from New York when I lived in New York, or you may have known me some of my former businesses as being a social media consultant. You might be a family member of mine, which I'm so glad that my family is in the room supporting me right now. Or some of you guys may have seen me on the VH1 special, My Celebrity Dream Wedding. And I'm sure you're like, what's been going on since then? Because I kind of dropped off the face of the earth just a little bit, but for good reason. God called me out of the social media space for some time because he needed to do some refining on me as a mother. And since then, I have had 2 beautiful babies. I now have 2 toddlers who are so amazing, but now very vocal, very opinionated, and they're truly a reflection of both my husband and they teach me so much patience. And on top of that, your girl is pregnant with a 3rd one. Yes, I have my 3rd child on the way right now. Matter of fact, your girl will be 9 months pregnant on Wednesday. Yes, you heard me right. I will be 9 months pregnant on Wednesday. And so you're probably thinking, girl, why are you launching anything this close to your pregnancy? And that's how I knew this was nothing but God. God said, this is what you're called to do. This is the assignment for you. And so as I am going through the process of birthing another beautiful baby in less than 3 weeks, I am also birthing an assignment for God, and it's so exciting. I cannot wait to share more about this pregnancy, about the Mom Bar. And so I just want to know, everyone in the room right now, who in here is at some form or stage of motherhood or has played a motherhood figure. Let me know in the chat box if you are a mama, a grandma, an auntie, a grandma. And as we're doing that, I'm going to also introduce you guys to a very special guest that I have for tonight. When I was doing the brainstorming and strategy with God, and God was truly the only one who gave me the blueprint for everything that I've been able to put together for this podcast, because it was hard. It was difficult. God said, you're going to do a live launch. And I was like, okay, God, where are we doing this? How do we do this? Okay, mama of two. All right. Any other mamas, or mom of five? Yes. Mom and grandma, we have so much wisdom in the room. Age, a stage of being an empty nester at the moment. Mom of three, two living sons, and an angel baby who would be 7. I love it. I have my angel son as well. And so really amazing. Nana, 4 beautiful children, 8, 6, 5, and 3. You all are just doing it. Like, this is mom of 1 son. You guys are really out here doing the thing. I wanted to call this the Mother's Day after party, because I think that the celebration of motherhood should continue. And so we're going to continue honoring each other. All right, mama of 3. Yes, I love it. Oh my gosh, all my mamas in the room. And I love to call my mamas very important mamas, because we have to put that we are just not any old mamas. We're very important. We are called and we are chosen to this space of motherhood that we are in. So I want to say, guys, just going back to my last point, God was like, you're going to do a live launch and you need a co-host. And I was like, God, who knows me better than I know myself? Who is seeing every stage of who I am, how I've evolved into a woman, knows my downfalls, my imperfections. And then God told me to ask my mama. Now, y'all, I was like, God, are you sure about this? Because I was like, I don't want my mama to get up here and say nothing crazy about me, be having me out here looking wild. But you know what? God said, your mother knows you better than you know yourself. And then he reminded me, he said, I knit you in your mother's womb, which means that my mother had to receive from God what it is the assignment would be for me. And so I'm going to actually bring my mom into the conversation. She is going to be my special guest tonight. So I'm going to give her an opportunity to get in the conversation. I just sent to the broadcast. She should have a second to get in here. And some of you guys have met my mother. And so I'm really excited for you guys to see she and I in this capacity together. And to see me as an adult mom, to see her as an adult grandma. And she's going to tell you guys a little bit of who I am, how I came to be the mom and woman that I am. And we're going to also have some real deal, transparent conversations about motherhood, marriage, and really ask some questions like, Mama, why you didn't tell me this? Why didn't you prepare me for this? So I'm just so really proud, honestly, to have my mom to actually engage in this conversation with me tonight. She's getting in the room. And I just want to hear also from you guys, how many of you guys have had that question for your mom, like, man, I wish my mama would have told me X, Y, and Z. Let me know what questions you wish your mother would have told you. Let me know what questions your mother would have told you. I gotta know. Let me make sure she can get in this room, y'all. Okay. All right. Here she is.
Hello, hello, hello.
All right.
I'm here.
So this is my mama, y'all. Yes, we got the same face. Literally, it is a copy paste. If you see myself, my mom, and my sister all together, you would think that we were triplets. It's kind of insane. But I'm very glad to have my mother's face because she is beautiful.
Thank you.
So, mommy, I just want you to take the opportunity to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are, how many kids you have, what stage of motherhood you're in right now, and how that feels for you.
Woo! That's a lot to remember. Okay, well, I am Deidreana's mother and Erica's mother. I'm a mother of two
Y'all, she
beautiful.
giving my legal name out here. No, I'm playing, mama. Go ahead.
Okay,
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry. She said I would do that. She was working it. Anyway, but I am the mother of two very beautiful young ladies. I am the grandma of one angel baby. And of course, I have my 2.5 grandbabies that I'm so excited and looking forward to hanging out with this summer. Um, I am which is crazy. I'm in the nesting stage, even though my children are adults. It's always just been us. So I'm just finding new ways to find myself.
And y'all, this has really been an interesting stage to watch her in, because it's teaching me also like, wow, like there's an opportunity that we have and are evolving, which we are always evolving and progressing to become new versions of ourselves. And oh, I love Sarah Johnson just said, my mom has 4 kids. She never told me how ghetto this motherhood thing could get. Yes, Sarah, it be giving ghetto. And we're gonna get into that. Before we get into that, thank you, Mama, so much for introducing yourself. We're gonna play a game of pump or dump. So over here on the Mom Bar, we like to have a good time. We like to chat, but we like to be real and honest. And we do this through a game called Pump or Dump, where Mama, you are going to help me, and my co-hosts in the chat are going to help me to agree or disagree to some statements. So I will share a statement, and mommy, you are going to say agree or disagree. And I am going to also ask my audience to also tell me if they agree or disagree. So agree means pump, disagree means dump. So for question number 1, kids need to learn boundaries as early as possible. Pump or dump?
Pump.
All right, what do y'all think about boundaries for kids? Because I think, and I think people have different definitions of boundaries. Like one concept of boundaries that I'm really trying to get my little ones to understand is that, hey, mommy's not going to always get on the floor and play with you. At some point, you guys have each other, and it's okay for you to play with each other. And so for me, that's a boundary that I'm trying to create to just get back a little bit of time to myself, even if it's for 5 or 10 minutes. Mommy, did you struggle with like, and you could tell them, did you struggle with telling me, no, mommy's not playing with you right now?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I struggle
But
with
why was it challenging to like tell me, Simone, I'm not playing with you right now?
it. For me, it's just like being a new mom. I wasn't. I just wanted to be almost in every second of your joyous little life as you. I didn't want to miss a second. So I felt guilty when I tried to pull away to let you do it yourself. So that was hard for me.
So that mom
That was
that mom guilt is real. So that's something we're gonna talk about a little bit later. All right, next question. Adults should not apologize to children because the parents know what's best. Pump or dump?
dump.
So yeah, I agree, dump. So I think that that's something we had to both grow into, even me being a child and you as a mother. Y'all, I had a mouth on me, and I really always wanted to have the last word. And there were many times that I can recall where like my mama had to go to a space and I had to go to a space. But eventually she would come back and say, hey, how you handle X, Y, and Z is not appropriate. We're not gonna move like that, like so on and so forth. And so I think even now with Royce and Cammy, I'm like, I'll tell them like if I get a little overwhelmed and I may say, scream or something like that, later on, I'd be like, you know what? Mommy is really sorry. Mommy was overwhelmed and I apologize. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not perfect. And so I agree. I agree with dumping that. All right. Now this one, you may or may not know what this is, and it's okay. It's a new age thing. Pump or dump. Spare the rod and spoil the child is a better form of parenting than gentle parenting.
Um, I'm gonna have to say pump.
So okay, so she does believe in punishment, y'all. And this is something which I'm love with having this conversation, because this is something that I am having to kind of unlearn, or not even necessarily unlearn, like modify for what the needs are of my children. So I don't necessarily believe in, like, you know, giving them discipline physically all of the time when they're babies. Like, they don't know what they be doing. They still trying to get together. Kira said, whoop them kids. Sometimes, there are ways in which we can do it, but something that
Yeah.
I'm learning, and actually one of the audience members here is a toddler coach, Julana. I want her to make sure she puts some hearts next to her name in the chat. She gives me this amazing guide that I've been using with Royce, and like figuring out what are the needs of my child right now, and like, do I have the capacity to serve them? And so I'm not 100% one of those gentle parenting parents, but I'm trying. I'm trying gentle parenting, LOL. Modifying, that's right. Just a little bit of both. It's a hard one. Like, it's difficult to navigate. And I think it's difficult to navigate specifically because of how I was raised, and like understanding that sometimes some of those things were a bit of a power struggle versus, I needed to be whooped because I needed to be whooped. Some of it was a power struggle. And again, that's because your girl got a mouth. I ain't gonna lie. I got a mouth. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next thing, because I ain't gonna tell y'all how disobedient I was as a child. We're not gonna go there. So, mommy, I want to hear a little bit from you again. You said that you're learning, even as an empty nester, like how to become this new person, this new woman for yourself. And so, being a glam mom, what has shifted as your perspective now as a mother?
Well, I've always I focused on you guys and making sure that you guys had the things you needed. So when you pour so much into your kids, you tend to lose who you are. Um, I can say now I wish I had more. I say more friend groups, more social getaways to be with adults other than just being with you and your sister, because that also that was a big power struggle with us. I would say so. But as a glamour, I'm more relaxed. I'm like, okay, let me just let them do. Let me watch them do. It's like learning to be a parent all over again.
So you feel like becoming a grandparent has allowed you another opportunity to parent in a new way.
Yeah, it's like when you not so much when you know better, you do better. But this is new age. This is not when I was growing up. Things have changed. Things have changed from when you guys are growing up. So it's all about me being able to shift and modify things myself that I thought should have been done, but now I look at it in a different light, if that makes sense. So you
Can
know
you
what?
give an example? Because so guys, you guys may not know this. So my mom lives in Houston, Texas. I live in right outside of Atlanta, Georgia. So when they want to see her, we do a lot of FaceTiming, and or we'll go out to Houston, or sometimes, and praise God for grandparents. My mom literally took both Camille and Royce. Camille was a newborn, right? And I think Royce had just become a toddler. And that was a lot. Again, I'm like 30 plus years old, like not that much 30 plus, but I'm 30 plus years old. My mom hasn't been a mom to a newborn and a toddler in 30, years. So like, what were some things that you were like, okay, let me make a little shift?
Um, Remembering my role as grandmother or grandma, and not the role as a parent for them,
Mm.
because I have to honor and respect your ways of raising them. I don't like it or I don't agree with it, but that's not my place. My place is to only fall in line with the way you're raising them, so there is consistency.
I am so grateful that you said that, because I know that there are a lot of moms who feel like they may be trying to live up to the expectation of their mom, um, trying to also set those boundaries for your mom. Like, hey, this is how I'm raising my children. Please raise them like this. This is what I would like to see happening. And it's funny, Kiara said they become soft as grandparents. And low key, I agree with that, because I think when we came back and Royce had done something and you just kind of let him get away with it. And I was like, I could never. And not that I was like jealous or anything, but I noticed how you just didn't get riled up by it as if it were me. But I recognize now on the back end how you're like, yeah, I'm soft, but that's what I need to be, because you're their mom. You need to be their disciplinarian. And so I think it's cool to have this balance. Y'all, when Royce gets on the phone with his grandma, he takes the phone. He said, phone, give me phone. He don't want phone. He don't want me in the space. They go do their own private thing. And I think it's really beautiful, because I want him to, yes, have a safe space in me as his mom, but also know that he has other people in his life that are a safe space as well. As Remy said, they become soft because the pressure isn't as heavy. That's right. But it's because they have passed the baton over to me.
Yeah.
Yes, a whole U-turn to get some McDonald's, which is funny because what they ask us, you got some McDonald's money? That's why they don't for their grandchildren.
That
Like,
is true.
I agree, y'all. I'm with all of those things. I want to kind of shift gears. Another segment that we do over here, for the mom bar, is really talking about like mental health. So something that I didn't really grasp or understand until I became a mom is that my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and SAHM mother, the same time frame that I was. I literally had no idea. And so some of you guys may or may not know this. I am a full-time stay-at-home mom to these two beautiful toddlers, and things can get complicated. And it's wild to me that when I ask my mom for advice now, the parallel stories, she's like, oh, I remember feeling like that. And of
Mhm.
course, my question is, why you ain't tell me none of this before having children? Like, I feel like if I had known that my mother was a stay-at-home mom before I chose to be a stay-at-home mom, I would have gotten her insight, and then I could have made a better decision. Not that I made a wrong decision, but yes, I just want you to kind of talk about, you said you poured so much into us. You were a stay-at-home mom. What were some of the challenges that you experienced as a stay-at-home mom when you were raising my sister and I?
One of the biggest challenges is not having my my side of the family, because we live in San Antonio. So my side of the family we didn't have any family there, and it was very lonely. Though San Antonio is a lot closer to Bryan, I literally 4 days out the week I would drop your dad off to work, and I would drive to Bryan. In fact, I was pregnant with your little sister, and that was I had to see my mom. That's the only thing that mattered. Do anything I needed, all the stress I was having, if I could get home to my mama, everything would be okay.
And that's so beautiful, having that safe space. And I agree, like Jay Silver Carter, I hope I'm saying your name right. It's just this, it's good that we have the conversations now, but I wonder what happens to where our moms don't don't feel us. Like, I don't think you didn't want to fill me in, but like I just feel like, at least for Black motherhood, like the conversation is just not really had. Like, hey, this is what you should expect for motherhood. This is what you should expect for pregnancy. This is what you should expect for delivery. Like, I just feel like either those conversations were had and I missed it, or we didn't have them. So like, what happens as an adult mother? Like, you get what I'm trying to ask you?
I think a lot of times we don't really necessarily share with our daughters certain things or certain parts of being a mother because it was such a struggle. It was a struggle that we wish that they would never have, or we prayed that you would never have to go through. So even though I was a stay-at-home mom, I had to fulfill my time with you guys by just early homeschooling you. And it's almost like mental health. We don't discuss it really in a lot in the African American culture until recently. It's become a bigger deal because not as many people are ashamed to say, I have problems with X, Y, and Z, and I need to talk to somebody.
You're and to be honest with you, I feel like having the conversations about preparing for motherhood is a huge piece of Black maternal mental health. And you just highlighted something that I think is really interesting. You said you were really trying to protect me from the things that you had to experience. So you just didn't want to expose me to those things. And so I don't know, but part of me is like, well, would protection better be to expose me to them or like not to? I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, Mom. I'm feeling some type of way.
Well, I understand. I respect that you're feeling some type of way, but it was not meant to make you feel some type of a way. But like I said, as a parent, we shelter our kids because we don't want them to struggle like we struggle. So we don't expose you to that part. And unfortunately, growing up in my house, we were exposed to, not the great things. Like you got to struggle to get here, you got to struggle to get there. So watching your parents struggle was what we thought we were supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And being once I had started having kids, it was like they will not know that type of struggle. They will know that this is your option, not the other option, but I'm pushing the positive option. Not that I will make you strong, but I already knew you were a strong person, so I didn't worry about that. But unfortunately, we didn't talk about mental strength.
And y'all hitting the nail on the head because that's literally what I was about to talk about. So y'all, I want y'all to also know this. When my mom and I decided that we were gonna do this, well, when I asked her and she said, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it." Ooh, that thunder and the lightning. I'm sorry, y'all. Well, I asked her to do it. I was just like, I was like, I feel like this should just be a God-led conversation. And my mom doesn't know that that's something that I have on my notes. And Rima, to your point, yes, transparency goes a long way. But our parents learned from a generation that learned from a generation that was taught to suffer and struggle in silence. And I'm so glad because that you said that, Rima, because it's really up to us to not just break generational curses, but to open the doors to generational promises and legacies.
Mm-hmm.
And I know something that I want to have a conversation with both of my children. Royce is, not absent from what it will look like for parenthood. And neither is Camille if that's their choice. And I want them to not necessarily know all the struggle, but I want them to be prepared to know, okay, it's going to be hard. And it's funny, you mentioned the piece about my mental strength. My mother used to always say to me, nothing is hard. You don't say hard and you don't say you can't do something. And however helpful that was for me growing up to be able to achieve things, that has actually been my biggest struggle as a mother.
Yes.
My biggest struggle as a mother has been accepting that, hey, this is a hard season and hey, I can't do some of these things. And so I've been having to really learn how to lean on God and lean on the strength that comes from recognizing that this is hard
Mm-hmm.
and I can't do this because I'm not supposed to be doing this. I'm not supposed to be doing it in my own strength. And so how do you, like, if you could go back, how do you have that balance in having the conversation with your child about you can do hard things, but also there are going to be some challenges in life.
I would have said it just like that. I truly would have said, you're going to come across some things, situations where it's going to be more challenging for you. Not that you cannot do it, but you need to be prepared for the challenges that may come. As opposed to me telling you it's not hard, you could do anything. And that's almost like you said, it was good while you were in school, but when you became a parent, it was like, okay, today I can't handle the screaming. Today I can't handle the throwing the toys. Today it's just more challenging. So then you have to get yourself in a mental space and to find what works for you, even if it's like starting with 3-minute breaks from the kids, just 3 minutes, and build from there. Like you said, talking to them and letting them know, okay, these are boundaries. Mommy needs a little time for herself. You guys, get you a little timer. Set your timer for 5 minutes. Say, hey, Royce, Kennel, when that timer dings and you let them hear what the ding is supposed to sound like, then you can come and play with mommy.
And it's
those are things help you with it. I know now.
Yeah.
And it's never too late, especially when you have grandchildren. You can still, when you get your pearls of wisdom, drop them.
And I'm so grateful that you be dropping them. And I'm so glad that I'm okay with calling to ask you for things, because I've not always been like this. I've always assumed, okay, you figured it out, and such figured it out, and they figured out how to be a mama. And one thing I've realized with motherhood is that don't nobody got this figured out.
Actually. Nope, not at all.
Everybody's picture perfect. Everything is not actually what's happening. Mm-hmm. Nobody has this thing figured out. And I am so glad God blessed me with creating the Mom Bar, because I was like, God, I'm not trying to be the expert on anything in motherhood, because I'm not. And God said, well, that's not what this space is for. This space is for saying I don't have it figured out. I don't know what to do, and I'm okay with that. But I could still find the joy in this. I could still find the magic in being a mom. I can find ways to rely on my community. And I also didn't want it to be a space where we just talked about a bunch of tips for kids, which is, helpful, but like just really getting to the meat of like, hey mama, I see you. And we out here winging it together. And if you put your wings and my wings, we're gonna get a little further. Winging it every day. That is right. Just out here winging it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm so glad that I've learned to kind of take that shield off. And y'all, this is new for me. Some of my prayer sisters are in this chat too. And they know literally just early this week, the enemy was I was battling 10,000 things. I was like, Jesus Christ, I can't. I'm also trying to potty train Royce right now. Jesus, I would literally pay somebody to potty train him. We still going through it. We on week 3. We making strides, but I refuse to be wiping 3 behinds. I just am not gonna do it. I'm not wiping 3 behinds. He needs to sit on the potty by himself. And so we're working through that. And so I had a really difficult week last week. And I was like, I don't know, Lord Jesus. I don't know what to do. And I was praying. I was like, God, you're not responding fast enough. I need for you to come down here right now from heaven and do what you need to do. Touch Royce so he know how to potty, because I can't deal with it no more. I can't deal with it. But, I just recognize again, it's a hard season. I can't right now. That's okay. This is also probably putting pressure on him. He's a little human being trying to navigate himself as well. And I have to respect that. All right, y'all. So we're getting a little winded and lengthy here, and I don't want to keep y'all all night, but I do want to wrap up with our last segment on the podcast called I'm That Girl. And so, Mommy, I want you to drop one piece of wisdom to another mama, all the mamas that are in here, one piece of wisdom that they can take and stand on before we wrap it up.
One piece of wisdom that I would give to you guys, and even to myself, know that it's okay if you don't get it right. It's okay if you don't get it right. Because you close your eyes, take a deep breath, look around you, everybody's still alive. Yeah, we get a do-over. So when you get a do-over, just run with it. But it's okay. It's okay.
That's so funny. We were heading to church on Mother's Day, and my mother-in-law had a shoebox in the car, and the shoebox, on top of the shoebox, it said, "It's okay." And so I'm receiving that as my word. It's okay. I don't have to have it all figured out. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I used to leave spiritual health and mental health as two separate buckets, but God cares about our mind too. And now, dear brothers and sisters, one final thing. Fix your thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. Think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. Philippians 4:8. Making the mental shift from looking for perfection and choosing progress, releasing what the world expects me to do and choosing what God called me to do, and recognizing no one has a manual to this thing called marriage, motherhood, or life was what made the difference for me. That's why at the Mom Bar, when we say we're pro mama, we really mean it. We're talking about the mama that wants to stop yelling, but that's the environment she was raised in, and the mom that feels guilty for needing 5 minutes, so she goes until she has a breaking point. And yes, we're even talking about the moms who let them kick it in their pajamas all day. It's okay, and we're here to help give you what you need to make the shift from focusing on perfection to progress. The Mind Your Motherhood, aka MIOM, is what we have created for you. It's a mental and spiritual health resource library curated for the mamas who need a starting point to renew your mind and to begin to see yourself the way God sees you. You will get devotionals, masterclasses, playlists, journals, and so much more. The only way to access this is to become a member of the Mom Bar Collective today. And you will immediately get this month's freebie straight to your inbox. Remember, Mama, you have to mind your own motherhood, and we're here to support you through it.